Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Addon and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we are going to gun. We're going to do guns. Last time on Zombie Dark 30, what we did was do quite a bit of the combat section. Combat section's pretty much done. However, what I did was I did a few different things. One of the big ones I did was add in what I like to call the Leon Kennedy rule, which allows you, the player, to kind of sub out some, in case someone dies in the field, you can replace them with a character who is not an operator. With the explicit problem being that A, their CCR is a lot lower, as well as they have lower attributes, but they have more skills. It's not a good investment. Change some wording kind of around here a little bit, kind of fix some wording here. As you can kind of see, I mostly changed the wording when it comes to like defense ratings just to kind of make sure everything was working there. Did fix up defense and avoidance, added a little section down here. Added some images obviously because I like having images to break up things and kind of like highlight certain bits and pieces. As you can see, a little bit more abilities there. Most of this remained the same, except some like small wording changes. I did add the entire section on reloading, which I'm going to get to reloading in a second. What I did with Suppressive Fire, I changed Suppressive Fire slightly. There's two things with Suppressive Fire now. One is that if you are suffering from Suppressive Fire, if you move, you're going to get hit. That's like one of the big things. If you try to move out of cover or try to move into the line of fire while they're applying suppressive fire to you, you're going to get hit. You're still in cover. They can't obviously hit you because they're not trying to hit you. Move away. Like, that is a valid option. But if you're like, if you choose to like stand up and try to like run somewhere, you're going to get shot and it's going to hurt. However, the big thing I did end up doing, because what I was thinking, like what was kind of happening, being like, even if you're suppressive firing, even under suppressive fire, technically you would still get completely fucked because you could just fire out fine. So what I ended up doing is any attack while under suppressive fire takes 2 hindrances. So if you're under suppressive fire, if you poke out and you take a shot, you aren't going to get hit, but it's going to be 2 hindrances, which is going to be -2 successes on whatever you roll. So let's say they're standing out in the middle of the, they're standing out. You only normally need 1, but you roll, and I only scored, I scored 0 successes. Let's do a better example there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 successes here. However, because I have -2 successes, I've only scored 3 successes. So hopefully that makes suppressive fire a little bit more of like an active option. That's kind of the idea, being like, we need to supply, put suppressive fire down on this person to have, or one guy move up for shotgun, to have this person move up here. What I should do, actually, the weapon requires to automatic or have a. The weapon requires to be automatic and consumes 3 ammunition. There we go. Put that little rule in. Fix some things up here. Added this little section right here, being like, I jump on a grenade, chunky salsa. I'm in the vent, and the grenade is thrown in, fornito salsa. I am crushed by a semi-truck. Chunky. I got shot with a tank shell. Paste. It's kind of the idea there. It's kind of I made this a little bit prettier to look at. Not much. One thing I did do was add in the idea that you have to reload your primary as well as your secondary, being kind of 2 separate things, which is, if I say have an MP5 and I have a handgun, to reload my MP5 is a major action. To reload my handgun is a minor action. It's me clicking in a new one. Me and my MP5 takes a little bit longer. Hopefully that allows people to do things a little bit faster. That's the goal anyway. I also added 2 things when it comes to free actions. which was one, change the sidearm. Snapshot, kind of did the nature of what snapshots are. A snapshot, for the best way to word it, is that if someone is like rushing at you, that's you like taking a quick shot, kind of like an automatic shot, and hitting them. That's not really supposed to be anything, but it's like the, oh fuck, the zombie is coming. I roll A10, I hit. The zombie goes down. That's what a snapshot is. It's not really supposed to be like for like legit full combat, more like a oh fuck, oh fuck. And, oh damn, oh fuck, if I'm making my fucking Payday references. I also added this. This is focus. The combatant focuses on what's ahead of them, gaining momentum up to the current squad cohesion for the rest of the round. Use once per combat encounter. Now, this is an important thing for two reasons. Focus allows you to gain momentum, which is free successes. Now, you may be saying, well, this means you're going to get a shit ton of successes when you're hitting someone. Yes, this is your aim action. For lack of a better word, this is your aim action to get free successes up to a pretty damn good degree. If you do this all right away, you're gonna pop everybody who is out of cover very quickly. That's fine. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be able to end fights very quickly. However, one of the other very important things for it is you have 3 wounds on your chest. You have 2 wounds on your leg. If you want to run somewhere and do something, you're acting at -5 hindrances. That means you have -5 successes to whatever you do. Focus allows people who are injured to mitigate that, because it just goes off 1-1. I can mitigate some of it if I have high cohesion, or mitigate some of the problems. That's the kind of the compensation. The original one was that like focus completely eliminates all your hindrances, but you don't get anything else. Like that's not very useful, being like you just gain momentum. Which is, I'm in the zone, I can totally do this, or I'm just going to fall over and die. Like, I am literally bleeding to death, but I have to pull through because I can do this. That's your ability to kind of push through problems, which the problem is, the worse things are going, the quickly this loses value. That's another big thing. So let me readjust. That's another very big thing, because at the start of the mission, yeah, hell yeah, you're a fucking badass. By the end, if your cohesion has been like rapidly been depleting, focused is like 1 momentum or like 2-3 momentum rather than 6. Its value quickly diminishes as things start going wrong, which is kind of how I want to, portray it. Besides that, we also have, we're going to do today, the goal for today is not only get the injury, wounding, and shock rules in, actually I should say injury, staggering, and shock. This is kind of like a basic understanding of like, you've been shot and how to actually heal yourself. Like, this is bad. One of the big things I want to do today is actually get roughly the equipment done. Now, I'm never going to say that I'm great when it comes to equipment. I am not ops and tactics. I've never claimed to be ops and tactics. However, I will do my best. So let me see if I can't find something real fast. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to actually increase the value of cohesion quite a bit. So let's see. I want to add, let's say 2 action die, add 2 successes, damage location on charge, 2 damage location on self. We'll say ignore 3 damage, ignore wound penalties, increase damage by +2, mitigate all hindrances. There we go. There we go. One of the big things is that you are very quickly, like you are very much encouraged to use cohesion, mostly because that's going to play into, said I was going to explain, so don't worry, I know what I'm doing slightly, is this. This is reloading. Now, I was having a hell of a time when it came to reloading, because guns, for those who don't know, are actually quite complicated, and they need to be reloaded. Now, how this is going to work is that every gun is going to actually only have a certain number of times they can fire, which I don't plan on making them too large. I only honestly try to put it in within like 12 or something. But every time they're fired, it's going to reduce by 1. And then when you're done, you gotta reload. However, you only have a number of reloads equal to the squad's current cohesion. So, for example, if you have cohesion 6, you can reload 6 times in combat. There's no, like, penalty or anything for it. You just can reload. And it's like, cool. Like, you are definitely... I'm trying to, like, give me... I hit every wrong on my phone. Like, cool, you are able to kind of, like, get into the zone a little bit more. And the idea being that if you have high cohesion... that guns just magically appear into your magazine. It's... The idea being that in high cohesion situations, you're reloading actively. You can. Yeah, you fired off a few shots, reload. Because if you think about in some of these survival horror games or like these action games and stuff like that, when are you reloading? You reload if you pop off 2 fucking shots and it's like, better reload, I'm fucking amazing. Like, cool, it doesn't really matter. You feel really confident about things. But the idea is being like, if you've hit like 1 cohesion, you got 1. And it's like, oh, cool, I have 6 shots. But it's like, okay, there's 12 there's 8 enemies. I have 6 shots. And people are coming to kill me. Fuck. And it's like that, kind of that dread setting in. Again, the idea being that I want frantic. Rather than scary, I want frantic and kind of that like, oh god, what's going on? Which, the ideal situation, this is the ideal, this is the moment. Which is, we're firing, you drop, you put your primary down, you drag out your handgun, and you shoot someone right away. Just bang, 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 throw it to your side, pull out your handgun, bang. You should be able to do that. This is the idea. Firing is a major action. Drawing your sidearm is a minor act. Drawing your sidearm is a minor action. Do a second major action to attack. You could do that. I want that to be one fluid motion if you have the right amount of actions. That's what I want. Especially if you are a individual with things like, if you want to use snapshot, for example, which, hey, there's a bunch of people approaching me, I have a gun, I'm going to snapshot and just roll a single die and see if I can't hit a 4-up to just try and gun one down because I'm being surrounded. That's what I want. That's the goal, anyway. The goal. Because I don't want, like, the thing I was worried about was 2 things. One, it was, I didn't want bean counting. I didn't want to be like, well, let me check every magazine and load it with every individual bullet, and we have to account for every single bullet. I was worried about that, because that's going to drag things down, because there's another, like, layer of thinking that goes into your head with that. So I'm like, okay, I don't want that. That's a no-no. But I also didn't want, like, oh, roll the dice. Oh, you rolled high enough, you're good. Roll the dice again. Oh, you rolled high enough, you're good. Oh, and you end up with, you know, situations where you fire like 50 shots from a 6-shot revolver. Like, sometimes, like, depletion die get a little bit funky. I've never been a huge fan of depletion die because I've been in those situations where a player just rolls amazingly well, where you just don't run out of things and it feels really awkward. I've also been in situations where it's like, well, sorry, you didn't pack any arrows because you rolled a fucking 1, and being this like, I think I would have more than like 5 shots on my, like, 2 fucking arrows. But oops, sorry, you rolled a 1, Lamau, you don't have any more arrows. Like, oh. So it is true, guns do replenish magically. Yeah, it's a little bit of action movie logic. I will say that. There is a little bit of action movie logic in this. Because I say this, When do you ever see the action hero reload that isn't a dramatic moment? You never do. You never see it. You see it when John McClane is, fucking crouched behind something. He's got a bullet. He is ready to go. He's just, they're making grunting noises and being very angry. That's when they reload. Or when it's magically appropriate. Reloading is probably by far one of the most complicated things that should not be complicated in tabletop games. Simply just due to the fact that it has so many little options and none of them are good. Not a single one is good. There is no good option when it comes to reloading. Similar to combat maps in modern games, there's no good option. Every option just feels more awkward than the last. Right. That's right. Okay. So, let's see. Why did an operator have? Actually, how do we want to word this? Okay. How do you do gun combat without going full gun fu or Phoenix command? Carefully. Because you either end up in two situations with a lot of gun combat games, I've noticed. You either end up this turns out to be a very common situation. It's the naked gun scenario where it's you just start popping at each other and there's nothing really going on, just bang, bang. That's what you want to avoid for a vast majority of them, and a lot of games tend to be you have to move, you have to move around, or they use zones, or you just end up doing what Albedo did. Albedo has probably some of the most in-depth gun combat I've ever read. More accurately, I've had ex-cops talk about firefights at point blank, end up with all shots missed. Yeah, it's accurate, but it's also really awkward on the tabletop. This is one of the issues that you see in a lot of games. Because here's the thing, in let's say a game like Ready or Not. Ready or Not is SWAT. It's a very slow and very methodical game. And when you do get those gunfights, it's this flash of oh shit, what the fuck, oh fuck, oh damn, of people, shooting each other. But one beautiful thing about those games is that you could fire a lot and you only a few shots hit because they go down very fast. In even in things like Siege, for example. Siege is a great action game. Love it to death. You don't have that same how do I want to do that? The fear does not rush through your head. It's annoyance when someone pops out of cover, Lamau, look at me, I've knifed you. Yeah, it's when you see someone fucking, Habana crouch walking like a fucking moron into a shed and die. It's that's a little bit different. And the fact that, you have hit scan and stuff like that. That's a weird phenomenon. It's a little bit different. And if you've ever been in those games where you just miss all your shots and they miss all their shots, you most of the time, I know this happens in Counter-Strike a lot. What happens then is that you pause for a second, they look at you, you look at them, and then you do you do the online wiggle. You do the mental agreement that you both are fuck ups. And as you desperately try to reload, it's not fun. Tabletop games, I think, has the one issue is that everything has to be a little bit more accounted for. I think that's another big issue when it comes to tabletop games in general. Yeah, that's another app. Yeah, which is one of those things where in Siege, for example, I aim, I take a shot, I hit someone in the head. That takes 3 seconds. 3. I hold right click and I hit and I tap my left mouse button. Bang, my ammo counter goes down by 1. They're dead on the ground. Happens in 4 seconds. It's done. 0 to 100. On the table, what that would be is, okay, make me a check to... It's things like, make me a check to aim. Are they in your sight? Can you hit them? Okay, yeah, we all know that you can actually hit them. Okay, make me a roll to see if you hit. Let's check damage location. Let's check damage. Let's see if there's any saves or anything, or let's see with armor and things like that. It's shit like that. I've played Traveler a long time ago. I actually enjoyed Traveler quite a bit. Very fun game. Didn't get to play too long with it. It was a weird campaign in college, but it was a fun campaign. But things like that, it's usually, people call it pretentious. This is the thing. People call it pretentious, but I adore Unknown Armies fighting system. How I adore how it actually works with Unknown Armies, because the first thing they give you in Unknown Armies is 6 ways to stop a fight. Because I'm going to give you a hint. Nobody wants to be in a fight. Nobody wants to draw a gun and start shooting people. Nobody wants this. And I like that about that game, because it's a very, guns do a shit ton of damage in Unknown Armies. Guns will fuck your day up almost immedely, because they deal D100 damage, not just D2D10, D100 damage. And if they nail you in the fucking noggin, you're fucked. You're dead. So it's yeah, nobody ever wants to get into a fight. Unknown Armies is one of those weird games where it's hard to go over. A, because I have no idea where to put it, and B, well, it's well known enough to justify it, to make it hard, but it's also not it's in a weird place. It's not super mega popular famous where it's this deserves someone to talk about it, but it's also not this is a game literally no one has ever heard about before, or a weird Japanese game or something like that. It's in a weird state. It's like RuneQuest. RuneQuest is a weird game to talk about, because where do you put it? I could talk about it, but the people who like RuneQuest already like RuneQuest, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. Do you think any gun should make getting shot in the head almost guaranteed death? This game in particular, you only have, your head is your most exposed area. It has 3 wounds, and what I want to be is a vast majority of guns are going to do have a good amount of wound, a good amount of lethality. If you get nailed in the head, you're it's Jover. But I do plan on making helmets kind of a one-shot survival thing, being yeah, you've got a helmet on, you're gonna survive the one shot, but you're gonna suffer. Is Unknown Armies about supernatural stuff in the real world? There's a very distinct reason why the alternate name for Unknown Armies is Cosmic Bum Fights. Because that's really what the game is. Yeah, it's a weird fucking world. It's a weird setting. RuneQuest. RuneQuest is quite a venerable franchise at this point. RuneQuest almost deserves its own entire case dedicated to it. It's my Chaosium. This is Greg Stafford's baby, by the way. This is the thing he wants. And it was, I believe it was the progenitor of, if I'm doing the numbers correct, if I'm doing my time correctly, it was the progenitor to Call of Cthulhu. But it kind of drifted off to do its own thing, and there's a bunch of different variations of RuneQuest. I think the most recent one is HeroQuest? Not HeroQuest. Yeah, HeroQuest. This one. I believe this is the most updated version. I don't remember, to be honest. I don't follow RuneQuest often. I admire RuneQuest, doesn't mean I gotta I don't like get it too invested in it. Yeah, HeroQuest is an interesting system. HeroQuest has some interesting ideas in it. I'm not 100% in it, but I like the ideas, if not the execution. Mithras is the most recent version. Yeah, this is one of those things where when I talk about, like, it's a little bit confusing of which one's which, because each of them are. Yeah, you kind of. I'm even seeing some things here, because RuneQuest has a few different. You could play RuneQuest in HeroQuest, or you can play RuneQuest in Mithras, but Mithras is not RuneQuest, but it can be used to run Mithras. It's a mess. It's a messy situation. Yeah, it's a large combination of factors. Also, hello everyone. I have 11 viewers. Why? Because it actually came White Bear and Red Moon, that's it. This is actually where RuneQuest came from, which I always thought was interesting. It was a board game called A White Bear and Red Moon. This was, again, Greg Stafford's baby that he did stuff in because he loved playing this game. This was his ideal game. The one thing that always amused me, to no fucking end though, was the story of why RuneQuest came to be. Yeah, you kind of see this. This was from a webcomic I've read, and they fucking killed it. I don't know what happened to it. I think they just got bored. But the story of, like, why RuneQuest came to be will always amuse me. He did an interview. I can never find the interview, but it always stuck with me. Was Greg Stafford was talking to a Wiccan girl, apparently, at a party. And he literally bullshitted the entirety of Glorantha to get in her pants. That was the entire goal. Like, and he made this entire setting be like, yeah, I'm a writer. I'm into all this mystic stuff. Yeah, cool. Wanna bang? I was like, shine on, crazy diamond. Like, this is a man I can respect. I've always enjoyed that idea. Getting shot hurts when a... Yes, RuneQuest exists for the explicit purpose of getting laid. In setting, too, which is the best part, too. Like, RuneQuest is one of those things, like, you can, like, actually just going over. I could do an entire fucking stream just trying to explain the fucking lore of RuneQuest. Because there's a lot. Because my first introduction, and probably along with a lot of other people to it, was King of Dragon Pass. Which, by the way... I believe I can buy it on GOG. I can actually buy it on Steam. This is King of Dragon Pass. I fucking love King of Dragon Pass. It is easily one of my favorite games. You see this shit? You see this shit right here? This is my jam. God, the art was perfect. Playing a bunch of Orlanthes. I'm cool. I have a few ideas, because there's the other game that came, what's it? It's like Ride with the Wind, I believe it's called. Like, Ride with the Wind is supposed to be like the spiritual successor to King of Dragon Pass. So that I was thinking, like, do I just grab that game and play that because I never experienced it? Yeah, it's the spiritual successor. That's why I'm like, I'm kind of interested in it. It's been on my wish list forever. Wait, is that game the precursor to Warhammer Fantasy? RuneQuest influenced... You could argue some of the ideas of RuneQuest influenced Warhammer. but influencing Warhammer Fantasy is pretty much saying anything they thought was cool at the time. So, yeah. I mean, for fuck's sake, literally just take literally anything during the time when Warhammer came out. It's probably in there somewhere. Like, yeah, it's like, did aliens inspire Warhammer 40k? Yes. So did Predators, so did fucking Dunes in there, so did literally everything they thought was cool. That's why I always find it funny anytime it's like, I'm deep into the 40k lore, or I'm deep into fantasy lore. I'm like, bitch, this game is built on heavy metal album cover. Like, this shit's built on heavy metal album covers and bullshit. Do they have weird beastmen? No, they have trolls though. We don't trust the trolls. Nothing but the cross. Yeah, we don't trust the trolls. They kill us. They eat our children. They murder us. We do not deal with them. Like, we do not deal with dragons. We do not deal with the elves. Elves can be cool. Dwarves, always trust dwarves, 100%. They may be trying to build God, but hell, I'm down. Beastmen are in a few different games. Don't worry. Let's see. When a combatant is hit in combat, they will suffer wounds and rap. Rapidly begin to deteriorate effectiveness. Hey, dwarves and Glorantha are trying to build God, and I can respect it. They suffer wounds and rapidly begin to deteriorate in effectiveness. When a combatant is reduced to 0 wounds in any location. Let's see. When a combatant is reduced to 0 wounds in any location, they will collapse. Collapse from pain. Oh, collapse from pain or suffer its ruin effect. It'll collapse from pain, suffering its ruin effect. Why are dwarves always trusted? Well, laddie, I can trust the tiny dwarf man selling me beer in the tavern. Ho ho ho! I can trust that man. Like, anytime I see like the good-natured innkeeper dwarf showing up, they're good. The only time dwarves are ever evil are usually when it's like gold or something like that. It's like they're never like villainous in a way, and they're always like. I think in media, anytime you have like any of the main three when it comes to like human, elf, dwarf, usually like humans and dwarves are to like at least get along, while elves are usually like the distant one. It's like, oh, we're the ethereal elves, and we live in the wood to protect the world tree. And the dwarves are like, we mine gold! Like, alright. Like, I think they're more relatable. And you find, like, this is an ugly dwarf, this is a nice dwarf, this is a stupid dwarf, or this is a scary dwarf, or whatever. Elves, it's like, this is the mystical elf, this is the magical elf, this is the sexy elf, this is the other sexy elf, this is the literal anime elf, which is just gigantic booba. Yeah, like dwarves we can relate to, I think, a lot more than... Yeah, I think we relate to dwarves far more than elves, and I think that's always been the point, like, oh, well, they're there. I think that's why people kind of associate them with like more positive. And I think elves have gotten kind of like a bad rap when it comes to like, oh man, can't trust the elves, because you read a lot of these works. Who's like starting the race war, or is at the wrong end of the race war? It's the elves. The dwarves are never killing everybody. The dwarves are never, doing horrific things to people. No, and if they are, it's like, we've done it because you've stolen our gold, or some bullshit like that. That's how it works every time. Orcs are just people. We can't talk about the orcs any. Yeah, orcs have the issue, and modern orcs anyway. I've been completely fucking off track. Orcs of the modern, I think modern orcs have the issue of being either the noble savage archetype, be like, we listen to the land, like Warcraft orc effectively, like we are connected to the land and we're honorable warriors, even though we have the fucking evil thing, or they're just raging monsters or with no personality. That's kind of the issue with orcs. Aren't dwarves slaver? Where the fuck did you get that? I guess like in Dragon Age Origins, they're kind of like that, but literally everybody's a bastard in what was it? Thedas, yeah. Literally every single person is a bastard in Thedas. And the dwarves at least have a good reason for it. Like, I love Dragon Age dwarves. I think Dragon Age dwarves are really cool, and they're a fun different take on them. Not a big fan of the elves though. I think we never got enough on the elves that weren't like universally just positive or universally negative. Like the Dalish are evil or the Dalish are good. Like, no, give me like some weird shit on the Dalish. Like, yeah, there's like, I could spend the entire time in Orzammar. Orzammar was my favorite fucking place in in Dragon Age, because like it didn't help. My first run through was actually as a dwarf commoner. And like as a dwarf commoner, you have such a unique position. And when you get back and you have to deal with the fact that your sister is hooked up with the prince, and the prince is a bastard, and you clearly know it, he clearly knows it, but you're like, oh my god, I have my nephew, I need to take care of him, but I also want to take care of my sister, but I also have to stop you, but I know it's like, oh, Bioware. Oh. It's amazing. I love it. Dragon Age 2 didn't have any fucking. They had Varric, and Varric was. I like Varric. As far as I know, you tried making Orc a bit different in one of your games. Slaves to Chaos did it like, I made an entire point to give the races of Chaos a lot more nuance to them, with the idea being that beings of Chaos are literally slapdash. That's the issue with the thing in Slaves of Chaos, is that they are slapdash and they are literally designed to destroy. Which, that being kind of one of the issues with their culture, is that like, how do you deal with a culture and an overgod who's explicitly created you to die and win because he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't play the long game, he plays the short game. Like, let me see, other orcs. I can't remember. I don't like, weirdly enough, here's a weird thing. Across all my games, I actually don't have many fantasy games. I really don't have any like strictly fantasy games. I have a lot of like, I guess you call them like weird fantasy, or like fantasy that isn't quite fantasy. Also, aren't those thrifts mere materialistic and intellectually? I mean, sometimes they're usually materialistic, and they're usually, the issue with dwarves usually that you see often is that they are very materialistic and they are very tradition bound. That's usually their big problems. Like, we don't want to change because we're the dwarves. Do you know Wildermyth? I do not know Wildermyth. And it's like, we're the dwarves and we never want to change. And it's like, I usually say like, yeah, that's kind of human. Like, that's very human. Be like, we like things and we're very like stuck in our ways. Like, cool. I like that. Elves get a little bit weird. Like, we're connected to nature. It's a lot of high concepts versus low concepts. Let's see. Suffering from its rune effect. Here's what we can do. We move all the way back up here. Let's see. Takes a wound. They'll take a hindrance when a particular limb comes up in the check. Torso. So rune major. Hindrance. Again, I'm kind of copying it, but I want to kind of get it. Like, I want to re-highlight this section, being like, this is what it means. When zero when it is lent, it is considered to be ruined. Like, this is what this kind of is. This is how this particular works, which is after all hindrance effects after the combat engagement ends, the operators may attempt to heal or actually, so after the combat engagement ends, how do I want to word this? We want to do injury. We'll start with the injury right now. So after the end of the combat encounter, fantasy corpos. Sometimes they can be portrayed as that. After the end of the combat encounter, each operator will check their current wounds. If they have suffered less than 50%, if they have suffered less than 50% of their wound total, the limb is considered to have been, let's see, been injured. It is to have been minorly injured. Actually, to have a minor injury. Is that considered to have a minor injury? Actually, no. It's suffered less than 50% of their wound total, rounding up. Their wounds rounding down. We do rounding up. Rounding up, the limb is considered to have a not minor. So like this is like you're still hurt, like you've still been grazed. Actually, considered to have a grazing wound. If the limb is over 50 is over half, then it is considered to have sustained a not a major, not serious, considered sustained a deep wound. Finally, if a limb is at 0, it is a ruinous wound. Not ruinous. What's the idea of no, we'll do with ruinous wound. A ruinous wound. Grazing, let's see. Grazing wounds can be. Grazing wounds will recover. Will recover with with basic medical attention. With basic medical attention by any operator, or self-care with a target, with a TN1 TN2 medical check. So it's kind of like, if you have medical training, you can actually treat yourself. That's the big idea. If you have a grazing wound, that is you taking like 2 wounds to your leg. It hurts. You're not doing good, but you can repair it. Like, you could fix yourself up very quickly. If you take 4 wounds to your leg, then you're gonna be in a, it's like, yeah, you can't really repair yourself. Like, you need someone to help you. With basic medical attention by any operator, or self-care with TN2 medical check. Ruinous is a great term. After being treated. After being treated, the wound will recover. The operator will recover. One wound every scene. Will recover 1 wound every scene. And in all wounds, should they be able to rest for more than 4 hours. I'm not inputting tetanus rules. We are not Essence 20. Or 1 room out. Yeah, there we go. So the idea of a grazing wound is like, it hurts like hell, but you wrap it up, you get everything ready, you sit down for a bit, you kind of stretch, and it's like, it's kind of that action movie logic, being like, I'm not super injured, I am fucking in agony, however, I'm going to survive, I'm going to be fine. You know, that's where the hard grit, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm a badass. And that's where that comes in. The I'm hardcore rule. If left untreated, will reduce wounds by 1. Will reduce wounds by 1 every scene. Will reduce wounds by 1 every scene. Reduce total wound by 1 every scene until serious wounds. Until deep wound. So yeah, it's kind of like the idea of like, it's like if you take, oh, it's okay, I only got shot in the shoulder where there's nothing important. Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like how you see in like movies, you see a guy take a fucking shot to his like side. He's like, "Don't worry, I'm fine." I'm like, "What?" Or like, because like, fun fact, kids, you getting shot just about anywhere, if a bullet enters you, you're not doing good. Like, they occasionally show you in movies and stuff, you know, people getting like clipped even, like, getting clipped by a bullet ain't good. Getting shot isn't good. Remember that, everybody. Notepad and on life tips. Getting shot is bad. And on my next TED Talk, deep wounds require a TN3 medical check or a TN6 self-administered medical check. Life hacks don't get shot. So yeah, it's like the idea, like, you need to be incredibly skilled to actually treat a deep wound. Like, you are, like, this is something has entered that it just should not have entered. So, if they are able to be treated. If they are able to be treated, then they will recover one wound. Recover 1 wound up to half, but not any. But will not But will not recover, more. Until proper medical care is secured. Until proper medical care is secured. Kind of like the idea, like, until you have an actual doctor, not just field medicine, you're not in a good place, really. Like, this is really bad. I'm going to actually drag that down to about 5. One Piece is officially good again. First time in 4 years. Don't worry, everyone. One Piece was never good. Let's see. If left untreated. Finally. Let's see. What's the Tarkov medical? Yeah, in case you're wondering, yes, I am. Medical case, injector case, surgical, CMS. I'm trying to remember all my various. The surgical kit is a medical item. Painkillers, that's fine. Let's see if I remember correctly. Head torso. Okay, wait. Injury and LC injury and let's see. Sorry, McDrew. I just having a fucking stroke of what I read there. You going deep into weapon autism with fire rates and stuff like that, or more abstract? I'm planning on being a little bit abstracted, just because this is supposed to be an action game more than anything. And that has its own issues, mind you, being like, this is a action game, so you kind of got to make some concessions in that regard. Actually, let me see. How long does it take someone to bleed out from a gut shot? Person who's bleeding out could die within 5 minutes. Bleed out from a gunshot wound to the abdomen. You will sort of drop to the shot and be dead within a few seconds. If it's or prevent infection, cut major blood vessels. So we're looking at about... Okay, we're looking at... So you'll be dead in either instant 5 or 15 minutes. Okay. So that's kind of the idea of like the 5 minutes and 15 minutes are more like, yeah, if you legitimately are not getting treated immediately after you go down, you are yeah, you need help. This is the you're fucked option. Like you're just fucking dead. Which is going to introduce the concept of staggering. Yeah, the idea when I'm kind of going there, it's like, because yeah, technically you could get by a fucking shotgun, it's still going to take you 5 minutes to go down, quote unquote. The idea here is more along the lines of like, they've got about 5, 10, 15 minutes to actually treat you before you just die immediately. That also applies to thing like your head. Like if you take like a serious wound to your head, they can try to fix you. That's the idea. Like you got a minute. It's kind of that life-saving surgery. Like we just barely saved you, you know, you got this. Or it's just you're fucking super, or you're just super fucking dead. Like you no longer have a face. You are DEA dead. So staggering. Zeds and mutants do not suffer from ruin in the do not suffer traditionally from wounds in any way. Being unfeeling, remorseless, instinctual, murderous bioweapon. Being unfeeling, remorseless, instinctual, murderous bioweapon. Instinctual and murderous bioweapons means most of their ability to feel pain has been completely nullified. Bringing down these creatures still requires reducing wounds in locations to 0. However, they will not suffer the consequences. They will not suffer the hindrances directly. Only the ruin effect. However, when dealing 5+ wounds, when dealing enough wounds to a Zed or mutant, they will suffer from stagger, which grants will suffer from stagger. When staggered, they will either move or attack. They'll either move or perform their instinctual attack, but not both. Staggering them twice renders them helpless renders them immobile, unable to do anything for the round. Well, most of them anyway. This is the idea of like, hey, that's a gigantic murderous monster who wants to eat my face. If we deal enough damage to him, he's gonna stagger. That means he isn't going to be able to attack. That doesn't mean he's not going to be able to move, and we got time to either run or we got time to do things. That's what this is. This is the staggering mechanic. Actually, potentially allowing the operators to get small advantage. I have a cool CT of a guy. Yeah, people have survived like weird things. That's like one thing that I always find interesting. It's just like people have like, yeah, no, I've been fucking impaled or whatever, and I'm like, I'm fine. Like, no, what? Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the shock rule, shock and immediate death. Should an operator Tango or any other living target suffer 10 or more wounds in a single round, they will die. They will die. This is representing the character. This is representing the combatant's body going into complete shock from both the agonizing pain and their bodies simply stop responding. There is a high chance. They will enter shock. No. They'll enter shock when in shock, the combatant immediately collapses from the pain and is unable to continue until they are resuscitated by an ally. During this time, they will have up to their endurance in rounds to survive. They will have endurance in rounds to survive, or they will simply bleed to death, or slip into mass cardiac arrest. Avoid getting shot. Avoid getting too in. Yeah, pretty much. Like, here's the thing: 10 wounds doesn't like seem like a lot, but like, if you're taking 10 wounds to something, it's like, oh, I've taken 4 wounds to my gut, I've taken 4 wounds to my torso, and I've taken 2 to my arms. Like, it's more along the lines like, you've just been fucking lit the fuck up. Like, you are incredibly injured at this point. Like you've just stood there and took a fucking full burst from something. Like, you're not having a good time. Like, taking 10 wounds is actually quite a few wounds, and you shouldn't do it. But you also have to remember 2 very distinct things. Anyone who isn't important goes down in 1 wound. They just collapse from a single wound. You need to take 10 in a single round to do that. And most of the time, what's going to happen to a vast majority of characters is you're going to find them, you're going to shoot them before they can probably even act, and then they're dead on the ground. Like, they haven't done anything. You beat them before anything. Like, it's... And that's kind of how I want this to go, is you have such a aggressive play style, you could say, as the operators, because as the operators, you have the training, but you do not have the numbers. That is usually the biggest issue that you suffer from. You don't have the numbers, you don't have the supplies usually. Like, you got to go in there, you got to get every advantage. And that means, like, again, kicking down the door and blowing some dude away before he even has a chance. Yeah, they are DEA dead. Okay, so if I do my numbers right, we are mostly done with combat operations. Now we get to do equipment. Cuckoo ka-choo choo. The part everyone's so equip. Operators are outfitted by their employer. Operators are outfitted by their employer. Each one unique in the way they choose to approach situations, as well as equip their soldiers. As such, equip their soldiers. Being an operator also means going in hot with enough supplies to succeed, without any extra baggage. It's just in and out, right? Simple. Actually, it's high speed, low drag. There we go. A gun and a faith in Allah. Inshallah, brothers, inshallah. How do we want to do this? Do we want to start off with guns, or do we want to start off with... I'm feeling we start with... Here's how we're going to do. We're going to do firearms. We're then going to move into... We will do we'll do primary fire. Actually, no. We do melee weapons. Actually, CQC equipment. CQC weapons. Which is then followed quickly by firearm CQC equipment, which is we're going to do medical supplies. Which is then going to be... No, we do... soldering equipment. This is where like your grenade goes. We move into medical supplies, which we follow up with bang bang, throw, stab, grenade out. I'm bleeding. I need a medic bag. What else am I missing? Armor. We need to do what else am I missing? Oh, vehicles. Vehicles. Oh, okay, this is what we need to do. This is the goal. All right, let's do this. Firearms. The weapon of the modern age. The weapon of the modern age. A firearm. Well, actually, when was the gunfire? The original firearm changed the nature of the battlefield. Changed the nature of the battlefield. It has been humanity's greatest sin and greatest invention in the in the era of modern war from 1364 to 20XX to 2000XX. The gun has only improved its effectiveness in ending the lives of others. Yeah. But of the modern age, I don't really care about your position, your idea, are gun good, gun bad, don't really give a shit. That's just the facts. So, let's bring out what my traditional firearm listing is. I have better than that. Where's my real firearm list? Where's my gun autism? Game has the best gun. Which game has the best gun autism in it? Was it Hearts of Darkness? It was Hearts of Darkness. This is being updated. I think this is the recent version. Anthrodesis Dissonance does have guns. Its Cruelty Squad has a shit ton of guns, but they're not what I need. Technically, we could consult a few different games. I can't use Boots in Mud because Boots in Mud has a curated version of it. Has a very curated version. I guess Soldat Sans Identité also has quite a few guns, but you also have fucking laser guns in that game, so that has its own issues. I need to update Where the Light Fades Softly one of these days. Weekend Warrior. Anything in the Weekend Warrior list? No, I don't think so. I guess Metal Saviors does have it. I haven't updated this game in fucking forever. This has been a long time. Me having to update this game. No, this isn't even my full updated one. So this would be the most updated version of all my guns. Let me think. Let me see, do I actually have ops in this one? Oh, I need to. I've done it again, everybody. It's completely dark in my room and I cannot see anything. Give me one moment. Mashallah. Oh, God, that's my back. My back doesn't do that. Oofa. Ah, there we go. Mashallah, Mandanish, obstacles. I'm dying. Let's see. Where's ops and tactics? How am I doing? I'm fine. The worst part is I know this is not even like the full book. That's the best part of this entire thing. I fundamentally know this is not the full book. Because If there's one thing about ops and tactics, and I've always said this about ops, being like, do you like guns? Do you like just having a shit ton of like options for guns? Being like, yeah, everything you want is fucking here. However, if you don't want that, if you're like, I don't want guns like this, I want mother guns or something like that, it's like, if you are not a commando, that's the thing. If you are not a commando, this is going to be incredibly like boring. Like, I don't really need any of like. Mostly because I know usually the big criticism I see with people is that he ties all the damage to caliber. That's usually the big thing I see. What other guns? Gun games. That's a fun game mode. I love gun games. That's always fun. I wonder. Oh, beta wouldn't be it. Oh, that's not it. Let's see. What do I have? I mean, I guess I can consult. This is kind of a meme, but it is a complete fucking meme, but I might need to do that. So let's go to 100. He cries as he realizes he just can't copy guns for his past game. Damn it. I mean, I can just copy the guns from my other games. That's the beautiful part. I can technically do that. That is not technically difficult to do. What I would just need to do is I'd need to give them probably a little bit more personality, because it would be like, what I could do is they wouldn't have flex ratings. That's the idea of this particular one. They wouldn't have flex ratings. So a vast majority of these, what I would have to write down would be is if we go here, be like, here's our generic, arms and armor. The open sesame 8 generic assault weapons. So magazine capacity we could change to fire rate. It would literally have to be something like fire rate. Actually, if we do something like, we do the math correctly, because we need the lethality rate. We need the lethality rating. Then we need if we copy to the right, we need the penetration value. You don't need flex rating. You don't need the flex rating. So if we do something like this, that could work. It's not great, but it could. This is one of the issues when it comes to firearms, because I'm going to give you all a little bit of let's do modern firearms. Tell me all about modern firearms. Yep, here are all the guns in the world. Oh wait, no, that's completely incorrect. Here's literally every single fucking gun you could ever fucking want. Well, what's the GAU 5A? Here's the GAU 5A. Here's all the different additions and changes to it. Let's do what's the Type 50? What's the Type 56 like? You can kind of see this is the Type 56 now. It's all its various variations, but we can do the ZH05 and kind of see a little bit overdone. But yeah, here's the ZH05. Here's all its stats. Here's how it does things. Very interesting. Technically we have the old STGs, but those are still technically in use in some places. In fun and exciting countries we can't talk about. We got the HK and the Heckler and Koch. How can we forget about Croatian arms? Mind you, this isn't even anything. What do you want? The FN? Welcome to the right arm of the free world, everybody. How can we forget about the SCAR as well, which is you fucking know its own fucking meme. Yeah, so you understand why I'm a little bit hesitant to be like, let's go full guns, only guns. Because there's quite literally nothing good. Because full on, you either have to do ops and tactics, or you end up having to reduce things down quite heavily. And that's what I'm doing. Most likely what I'll do is what I did with Soldat. And change some of the nature of it. But let's actually do some. We want to do Zolder, not Zolder. Guns of the artists. So tags, we're not going to worry about tags yet. Range, do we even need to worry about range? I'm not going to worry about range. You want to know why I'm not going to worry about range? Because we're already working in tactical combat, so I'm not like super duper like here's a bunch of things I need to worry about. Fire rate is fucking kind of a meme. So lethality rating, this is where things start getting a little bit weird. Because how do I want to do this? Either we go full gun artist, alternatively, we want to do right, everybody gets like, pretty much everybody gets like their very specific weapon. So there's going to be a handful of generics and then be like, this is specifically for this, this is specifically for this. That might be the best option. Yeah, that doesn't really fix our issue though. So if we assume, let's just do a basic understanding. Let's just establish some basic ground rules here. Basic ground rules. Assault rifle is effectively our version of the, like, what's the most like, not a regular militia, not Russian, not Middle Eastern, not the, let's do the British Army. Basic assault rifle, the L8 556. This is mostly shooting 556. If we assume this is 556, glorious 556 by 45 millimeter NATO, so it's 556 ammo. Through penetration of U.S. steel helmet, 22 cal, like. Let me think. 556 versus. This is your traditional 556. So let's think. That would be tier, actually body, we'll do body armor level. What does 556 go through? I'm up to level 3. Okay. Okay. So let's assume, let's just give it a base example. Let's say its penetration value 3. Very simple. DMR. What is a DMR? What's a traditional, God bless him, DMR rifle? Designated marksman rifle. What is the most modern designated marksman rifle used by we'll use the British, because the British are usually the easiest when it comes to these things. The L12. We're using that 7.62 NATO ammo. So 7.62. We'll do 7.62. 7.62 versus level 3 armor. So yeah. Goes through 3A, AR-10, SR-25. So if we assume that most of like these things are going to have like a 3 rating, then we're good. We bump the lethality rating up though, of like the DMR versus like an assault rifle, and we give each of them a separate tag. So your basic LMG though, let's do a little bit of thinking here. We want to do, this is mostly going to be like it's going to be a support weapon. That's kind of the idea. 5.56. So this is all using 5.56. This is going to have to get like it wouldn't be a light machine gun. I don't really know what I would end up calling it. But like this is that's supposed to be like a supporting weapon. I guess that's not something like it's not something you can really carry though. That's like supported by people you can carry, but not like just carry it around like wherever the fuck you go. This is an operator as fuck. Would a light support weapon be counted as that? Like, I don't think so. Squad automatic weapon. So that, yeah, so I mean, I guess we cancel out the LMG. We don't really need it. We just keep it with this squad ISS, the SAW. I don't want to get too deep into armor autism. Like, I don't want to go too deep into ammunition autism. That's one big thing. I want to just kind of say, like, if you do want to go into things like that, and I'll probably put it as a side note, being like, if you want to go into like different different ammunition types, cool. I'm not going to detail it in here because that's a little over this purview. This is the best way to think about it is chambered in the most generic possible. Stops the lethality trait. The idea, pretty much how this works, the basic calculation of what's going to occur, and I'm going to actually make a simple version, is you do pen versus armor. If you break it, you then do lethality minus it'd be lethality minus protection. If you can't pen their armor, you're not going to do anything to them. It's it. That's the benefit. Actually, I should say is the generic version of this is lethality, which is just going to be lethality minus protection. Actually, it's probably going to be lethality minus armor, which is the idea of you've been hit by this thing, you're going down. Sorry. Like, that's the simple version. Yeah, the idea what I'm going for is, let's say I have, again, a 9mm, but I have rank 3 armor on. I shoot, I get hit. I'm not going to take any damage, really, for it. I didn't like that. I'm not going to take any damage. I'm going to be fine. I don't want to do save or die. This is still an action game. That's the idea. I don't want to be like, oh, sorry, super cool action man. You just got shot once and died immediately because of a battle roll. No. Different game. Yeah, I think that would work. Not this one, though. Again, this is a action horror, not a military simulator. I do have one of those games in the works, and it's there, and it's been ready to go for a while. Like, I'm ready to do it. No one's ever selected it, though. That's the issue. A Squad Combat Evolved. Aces. Nobody's ever selected that, so that's like, I get what you're meaning when you're saying that. Let's do something maybe like 4, 6, and then but we do 3 with the idea we give something like a suppression tag, and then we give the DMR like a ranger tag. Well, with assault rifle doesn't get, like, the assault rifle is a very generic weapon. It doesn't really get anything. Maybe like a maybe we give it a, actually we can give it like a full auto tag. We kind of give it like a benefit of being a full auto. Assault rifle, let's say 30 round. Let's say we have a basic 30 round magazine. How often are you going to be fighting shooting characters? The commissioner specifically laid out that he wants to have a 3-way combat experience often enough. That's the idea. He wants a 3-way combat experience recent enough for it to be common. So I need to account for that, being like, this is going to be an entire thing of just shooting, of just guns. This is going to be an entire thing of just zombinos. So I'm kind of leaning toward the idea of like, here's this really good gun game, and here's the problem, because now you have zombinos who ignore parts of it or straight up don't think about it. Which is issues of like, hey, this fucking, I've been calling them tyrants, but I'm probably going to rename them to despots because that's a little bit more menacing. Is, hey, this despot is a gigantic tank of a man with a giant arm blade with the sole goal in life to fuck you. However, he has an armor of 7. You are not going to pierce him with your gun. Your bullets are going to pop off of him. You need to find a weak spot. You need to find an idea of, it's like, you need to find a weak spot. You need to find a way to stagger him. You need to find a way just to get the fuck out. Like, that's kind of the idea. Like, zombies are not a problem. If you are in combat, you require 1 hit to bring them down. They're going to drop immediately. That's one of the advantages. They're going to drop. Like, they're not a threat, really. However, the big thing is, a lot of zombies are going to bring you down. They're going to be able to bite and rip you a new asshole simply because that's just what they do. That's their goal. That is their job. But again, that's where some of the advantages comes in, is they follow an AI effectively. This character is injured over here. The zombies are within range. They're going to move. They're going to make a beeline toward the injured guy, and they're going to start fucking eating this like insurgent you shot in the kneecap. They're going to start eating him alive. Like that, wow, that's genuinely horrifying, but like, hey, we're not getting eaten. Or like, it's more about manipulating the events around of, we know the despot is just going to attack the closest enemy. We need to leave. We need to get as far away as possible, and he's going to attack the other guys. Or, hey, we know that these jumper guys are going after people who are making noise. Everyone go quiet. Don't fire. Don't make a noise. The second someone fires a gun, shit's going to get real. That's kind of the goal. Will it succeed? I don't know. Yeah. So let's say 30 round clip. 5 shots, we do 30 30 with about a 3-round, 4-round burst. It's kind of like bang, bang, bang. We're going to do about common. So we're looking at maybe about like a fire rate of, let's say, about 8 shots. I'm going to try to keep everything within 12. That's the goal for this. Is that a good idea? Probably not. But am I going to try? Yes. What's a DM? Tell me more about DMRs. Tell me more. Detachable box mag for about 20 shots. I mean, we can do something like this, so it's like they don't really have, like... The idea of the assault rifle is that you're a little bit more aggressive, you're moving up, you're going bang, 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 you're bringing people down real fast. DMRs are kind of the same way. I guess, like... Yeah, I would like to keep it low, but I want to keep things simple. I mean, if I want to keep things real simple and real easy, I just do this. What's the saw? Saw is 250. Yeah, fucking saws are nuts. Like, they have a fuck ton of ammo. Like, saws make my life hard. Squad automatic. Like, I believe this is considered a saw. Like, how much do you have? Like, yeah, 30-round detachable box. So something more along the lines of, like most of these things, like, you have only a 20. So it's like most of the weapons are going to look like this. But then we do something along the lines of like more specific firearms, which would be, if we're basing these off of this would be like something like this. We put you over here. We do the, what would be like the most traditional, what's the modern, actually most prolific firearm in the world? AK-74, AK-47, most used. Shots would be 100, yeah. This is what I mean by, like, I don't want, like, ammunition to get, like, wet. I don't, like, this is one thing I'm worried about ammunition, is being like, oh, it's bean counting. It's just like, oh, you fired a 5-shot, let me just mark 95. Oh, you fired. I don't want that. So, like, this is kind of a market here just for right now, just so I don't gotta think about it very much. We do the AKK. We can probably, I mean, we can probably just call it, like, again, we just need, like, popular, yeah, Academy, yeah. Aviation, Greystone Limited, contracts, incidents. These guys use most often. Like, what would you consider to be like a mercenary? Like the the mercenary's gun. How would you word that? I guess that's just like an M4. Is it? AR-15, there is their own AR-15, detailed black, the BW-15 built to exceed. So we do something like, BW-16, bump up lethality rating, bump up pen value. Bump up pen value, but we reduce the ammunition for it. We give FA, so it's kind of like they're allowing the idea like ammunition is lower for the BW-16, however it's a lot more lethal and it's going to pen things a lot faster. This is mostly for we want technicals. So Colt carbine. Those black ones, yeah, pretty much like, how do I want to word this? I just need guns and I don't want to get sued. Surprise, you're going, yeah. Pretty much like the goal here is, here are the specific firearm, like here are the kind of the generalized ones, and here's some like specific ones for like, hey, this is for whitewater technicals. Like, this is what they use, because they're a fucking bunch of fucking mercenaries and are scary bastards. So it's like, you have the option of choosing the generic, or you can choose the standard. What's a standard UN weapon? Tell me more, UN. No, come on. UN, please tell. UN, I can be trusted with knowing what guns you use. Let's see. Nope. What weapons do the UN use? Transparency and armaments. Tell me more, UN, about what guns do you use? Let's see. 2-tier system, 7 coverage, battle tanks, like large caliber system, warship missiles, small arms. No, the UN does actually have firearms. They're required to have blue helmets. I also forgot the fucking UN website is apparently run by a goddamn goblin who does not understand how to use a fucking let's do like NATO standard small arms. NATO cartridge, infantry weapon standardization. History is 762, 5556. Nope, we want no NATO rifle. Most common NATO rifle. List of 556 NATO weapons. Alright, gamers, designed in 2008. Thanks, Taiwan. Wow, thanks, Taiwan. I'm trying to think of like what would be like the, guess it would be German. 2000. Million decorations of the M4. No. It's pretty much this particular. If you have a gun, because what I need, here's the thing, is I need a gun that would be like standard, like this would be kind of like the standard quote like UN rifle, like UN slash your NATO slash like standard, you know, UN NATO gun. This is like their basic assault rifle, their basic DMR, their basic weapon that they're gonna hand out to the STARS guys, which are pretty much counter, like, yeah, we're effectively a counter-terrorist organization dedicated to doing things. Then you're probably going to need, if I bring up all the various basic ones, you're gonna need probably some like more like mercenary arms, kind of like I can get a little bit weird with some of these because like Northern Lights and Southern Expeditionary, these two are literally supposed to be weird PMC groups. That's the entire thing. It's mostly STARS and kind of the mercenary ones, and then you have just some like random mercenary arms out there. Standard gun goes standard is such a thing doesn't exist. Yeah, I know that much. HK416s, F2000s. What's an F2000? I'm not a gun autist. Never have been. Need a bullpup. Oh god. Let's see. In early 2000, F2000, the F2000 was removed from FN International. So, slow fucking Slovenian army. So, yeah, the F2000. I mean, guess we're bringing in the F2000. Let's do, if we do the F2000, actually it'd be, yeah, we'll call it the E2000. We'll call it the E2000. We need to give it slightly different names, just so some fucking gun autist doesn't show up and shoot me in the fucking face. Standard ammo. What's your gimmick? Tell me your gimmick. Yeah, this would be like F2K. F2K weapon. There we go. This is what it is. Okay, so we do E2000. We've reduced the lethality rating. How about that? We reduce the lethality rating, keep the pen value up, keep ammunition higher than normal. They have this. It's going to be RNG actually no, we'll do FA suppression with and this is mostly going to be used by STARS people. Then we have to do a DMR. What's a special DMR rifles of the world? Tell me more about DMR rifles. Hello. Geprod. See, DMRs are weird because they end up being like their own. Recently introduced the Eckler Coach HK 417. What did I end up calling it? It was the HK Jaeger. Yeah, this was the HK Jaeger. So if we do this, we do the HK lethality rating is huge. The pen value is decent. Ammunition is a little bit on the low side, but it's got the range switch. We got range switch, and then we do FA. We do this mostly for, it would be mostly STARS, I guess. I love the F2000. Everybody loves the F2000. Let's see which one. Oh yeah, I forgot. I ended up calling some of like the stupid gun names I had, such as the USA 12, Uncle Sam's AR-12, which is the AKK 204, the FAMAS LS. Oh god, I have to put a FAMAS in here somewhere. FAMAS variant. Tell me more about the FAMAS. This silly gun. I love this stupid gun. I adore FAMASs. I always think they look completely ridiculous. What did I end up calling it in this one? The FAMAS V. We have a very low lethality rating, but we have an insane pen value. We got that. It's mostly range switch and mostly employed by... Who would it be? Probably. No, it would mostly be stars at this point. Like, and we need a saw weapon. I think we got 2 assault rifles. We got 2 DMRs. The AKK prejudicer. There's guns. Yeah, no, there was let me see, because every single one had a different name. The Kaiser Glock 18, the Malinov 2040, the Ruger Blackhawk 2. What was a really cursed one? Ah, yes, the Agamemnon. The fucking Greek weapon that just immediately annihilated everything. The Martini Spice. Which was a lever-vented energy rifle. That was the really cursed one, the Pancor Deathhammer. I literally just did a bunch of very cursed weapons in that game. Let's do the FAMAS 5. We could probably bring in 1 squad automatic weapon. Tell me more about squad automatic weapons. The big boys. Give me the big ones. The FN Scars. Probably need to be something like... What's your gimmick? We'll do the RPL. This will be the RPL. We'll do the RPL 9. We'll do the RPL 16. We'll do the RPL 17. Lethality rating is going to be 3. Penetration value is going to be 3. Actually, we'll bump that up. You're only going to have 80 quote unquote shots. Their main thing is going to be suppression full auto, and probably give them a little bit of range. Kind of like the idea being like they're a little bit higher range and able to take things out a little bit easier. Which we can probably do something a little bit lighter, because squad automatic weapons are weird and it's like not a real definition, but it is. Beretta. But Blackhawk down. Oh yeah, gamers. Let's do Germany. Use the The Heckler Koch MP5. Everybody uses the MP5. Everybody loves it. It's the best gun ever. MG5. Oh, God. Next generation squad weapon replacement as the XM250. God bless the XM250. That's what. XM255. Lethality rating 3. Pen value. We'll do pen value 4. Like it's a little bit easier to pen with it. Ammunition's going to have a shit ton of ammunition. And it's mostly going. And we're not going to worry about range. It's mostly about look. It's going to be the major difference there. And yeah, we're good. So if we do this correct. Now we have to address the ammo concern. Okay. How do we want to do this? Pretty much the idea is that you're going to be spending ammo every round, every time you make an attack, but this is an action game fundamentally speaking, this is an action game and I want to keep things good pace, good fast pace. We do okay. Here's the maths. Let's say our highest is we're going at like 20 or something. Like that's like the number of shots you can actually man. This is like big. Let's do average out about average number of shots roughly, and then it kind of gets lower and lower from there. So I mean, if we do this correctly, now bear with me. This is for the game. This is a game logic, like approaching it. Like I need to make the game fun. We do something like 10-6, like 12, 24. Ammo. A lot of times you're gonna be shooting this thing and like never fucking reloading. But I guess the suppression tag is there, so you're going to be constantly expending more and more of it. So that's fine. That should be fine. And then we do 8. E has more, so we bring that up to 11. Jaeger has a 6, and we have about the same amount of ammunition, so we do like 6, and then we bump it up to like 6, probably do like 7. Actually, no, we do 5, and then we bump that up to 8, which brings the RPL instead of 24. It's only going to have 18, which the XM has a little bit more ammo, so we're looking at about 26. Because this is about action movie logic. I'm applying a little bit of action movie logic here rather than like real logic. Real life logic is really fucking boring. Always got to remember that, everybody. You know, the gun artist is like, it's not right, it's not accurate. But it's not really supposed to be accurate, that's the thing. It's supposed to be entertaining to actually play, which is very different than everything else. So if we go under the idea that this isn't quite ammunition, shots before reload. Do something like attacks, I guess. No, we're not doing that. I've seen people, and that's how you get things like Phoenix Command. We're not doing Phoenix Command. I made a very specific point in my life to not do Phoenix Command. Phoenix Command will kill a man. So if we do, we delete the table, we delete this table, we paste it here. And we don't have the tags yet, but that's fine. I am okay with not having the tags yet. And then we do the specific firearms here. If I can spell specific correct. So it's kind of like, hey, I'm part of White River Technicals. I could choose to have the BW16 or the assault rifle if I want to choose that. That's my choice. So, cool. Probably the FAMAS isn't going to be able to switch. something like this, which is going to bring me into... We're going to do sidearms last. We're going to do sidearms last. That means you handguns. Oh, sweet Jesus. Go choo choo. Let's do this. Okay, so we need to increase the size. We need to do this. We need to hit this button. We need to make this go away. We need to make this go away. We need to add in basic battle rifle. We need to add in a we don't need a bolt action. We do not need a bolt action. Do we need a bolt action? No. Carbine should be fine. Sneaky refuel. Sneaky refuel. Or anything else I really need? No, rifles are weird. This is an action. Yeah, it is a mantra. Like, there comes a point where you always got to remind yourself of what you're actually doing. Like, this is a little bit of an important note for everybody out there. I guess we can call it. We can add a bolt action. This is an important note for everybody out there who wants to dev games, who likes deving games and all that jazz. Know what the fuck you're doing. Know what the fuck you're doing. Because I've seen a lot of projects suddenly balloon out of nowhere because, oh, well, I want to add my baby mechanic, which is 54 pages of vehicle rules in a game where you're not going to be in vehicles most of the time. Or I want to add really in-depth, gunfire rules in a game with no guns. I've seen it happen before. I've seen it happen. I've seen it go poorly every single fucking time because then nothing gets done. And that's just like one thing you kind of gotta accept when it comes to these things. Like, we bump the lethality rating. We make a basic lethality look like this. Carbines can be a little bit lower on the lethality rating but they just have a very specific idea. Pen value, if we say 3 is like basic level 3 armor. What is this being chambered in? Tell me more about what you're being chambered in. I want to know what you're being chambered in. Mr. Chambers. I wish to know. Fuck the way we're going, man. Shotguns are all we're gonna have left. Let's see, 6.8. Battle rifle, like battle rifle caliber. I mean, they're AR-10, like these are 7.62, so if it's a 7.62, it's gonna have the same pen value on most of these. What's a fucking 7.62? So 7.6, so it'd be this like 7.6. Yeah, I guess that would be the case. Yeah, that's all they are. That's like, so that would actually have the same, these would have the same pen values. Pen value is going to be pretty universally about 3. Like, these are not changing very much, except when it comes to really specific weapons. So, battle rifle, we can give a little more, but you don't get any bonuses really. Bolt action, we're going to bring you down to about 5. Sniper, we're going to bring you, like, you have the scoped, you don't have scoped, but you're like single shot, you're single shot. You just get that bonus. Carbines are kind of just mediocre. I always put carbines in. I like putting carbines in because carbines are useful. They are things that, like, do play an important part. Fucking Russians. So 76251. Let's do a little bit. 5-1 versus level 3 armor. $308. So it would be $308. ASP, so level 3 plus rifle protection. So you need about 4. Roughly, right? We do 76251, so that's still level 3 protection. Not level 3 plus, just level 3 protection. So yeah, if we're doing the pen value by our, like, kind of the basic levels. So we need level 4 then. So it would be, I guess we do 4-4. I mean, I'm looking at this. Yeah, that's kind of the advantage of, like, the carbine, like, yeah, like, the idea behind the carbine is, I usually like putting in a carbine for 2 reasons. One, it makes a very good, it's sort of like an assault rifle, but it's not an assault rifle for people who are lame. I.e., if you just want to outfit grunts with things that are a little bit worse than everything, carbines are usually good. They don't really have that kind of advantage, really, so I usually like to kind of put them in there just for fun. I guess so. We bump up the penetration value to 4, so it's, like, pretty damn good in that regard. So I'm. Hey guys, you guys are the gun guys. I just write games. That's all I do. So if we do 5-5, I mean, yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, these are pretty standard stuff. So if we do specific, generic firearms, rifles, we do rifles. Is there anything fun and exciting when it comes to mainstay battle rifles? Anything fun, battle rifles? Tell me more about battle rifles. Temporary usage. I guess we're using the Tavor 7. The fuck does the Tavor 7 look like? It's not even in use anymore. That's the best part. It's not even in use. Oh wow, that's a weapon, all right. That's a fucking weapon. That's a part of the Tavor family. What's it been replaced with? DS12. That's the automatic bullpup shotgun. Very different. I wonder, do we have any modern Galils? If not, it's assault weapon. I guess you can call it one. Tell me more about the Galil. Praise be. Let's see. IMI. What are you making these days? The Roma, the Galil Ace. What's the Galil Ace? Is that still in use? Yeah, Galil Ace is still in use. IWI Ace. So if we apply the basic logic here, we do 2 battle rifles, we'll do 2 bolt actions, and that's pretty much all I'm really gonna do. I don't think I really need that many different varieties of fucking rifle. That's 25 round mag. It's a great bad guy gun. Yeah, it's like, I feel like putting it in case you pick one up. I don't fucking know. I'm it's either that or it's literally I just used generic firearms, because this is the one thing with firearms that is infuriating, by the way. Because you want to know how, like, this is the thing, like, if you can notice all the fucking tabs I have open now. Here's the thing, like, if you ever want to see, everyone's like, why don't you put more equipment in for your gun games? I'll give you a fucking hit. Why? Do you know how many goddamn axes there are in the world? There's axes, battle axes, crowbills, executioner axes, hand axes, long axes, offhand axes, pole axes. God help you all if you bring in all the other fucking varieties of them. Let's look at something else. Let's look at something else. Swords, bastard, fleeces, greatsword, guard daggers, knives, rapiers, sabers, swords, stilettos, swords, and Zweihandes. This is not even dealing with some of the more exotic weapons out there. Oh, don't even get me started on all the other shit. Trust me, you can go very, very detailed when it comes to a variety of weapons. Very detailed. Overly detailed, even. But I'm going to give you a secret. I'm going to give you a nasty little secret when it comes to guns. Most guns are, like, usually fall into these, like, very broad categories. And, like, you can do, like, oh, well, this one's has a 50% range bonus on it. Like, you're still firing at full range. It's still, if I hit him, he's going to die. Like, that's why people usually get pissed off at Ops and Tactics. Like, the people who, like, most dislike games like Ops and Tactics are the people who are like, you just tied caliber to, like, a damage die, like a 1d4 plus 1, where it's like, yeah, it's like, I can go very, like, detailed and do it, but it's like, how many, if you really look at it, how many times are, like, a lot of these guns doing things that are, like, strictly mega different? That is just not a inconvenience to do more than anything. So yeah, if you want to know why I bring in carbines, the answer is just to give them something else to do. I usually give them scoped too, so I guess I can give them carbine scoped as well. I guess I can give the carbine scoped. Kind of make it just a little bit better. You get a little, give it something to work with. The IWI Ace lethality rating. We keep the lethality rating. We keep the pen. We reduce the attacks. We give it a range tag though. We give just a very basic range tag. FN Scar. I guess we can call it the FA Scar. Something. FA Scar. We bump up the lethality rating by 1. Pen value remains the same. What's the ammo looking like? Oh, its caliber, its length is, there's 80 bajillion different fucking calibers. Awesome. Wow, awesome. 20 box mag. I mean, this is, yeah, so it's like a 20 box mag, so it wouldn't be terribly huge. So you're going pop, 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 pretty common. So if we're doing the battle rifles about that size, I guess we can bring it down. We'll bring it down to 10, keep it in more in line. It's not going to have range though, so it's just going to be like it's just going to be like an objectively better just battle rifle TM. However, you're going to have fewer attacks. That's the downside. Bolt actions, bolt action rifles. Squad, tell me more, squad, about your, what weapons do you have? The C-14 Timberwolf. Tell me more about the Timberwolf. 338 Lapua Magnum. C15 Beowulf. We're going to increase the lethality rating up by a lot. Pen value is going to increase by a lot, but you're only going to get 4 fucking shots with it. Actually, it's a 5 round. It's literally 5 rounds. Cool. And we're going to give it scoped. Yep, the Beowulf is very good at doing stuff. Actually, we can probably, let's increase the attack, make it just a little bit more incentivized. We reduce that down. The 6.5 Grendel rifle. Yeah, no, you got anything you want to put in here, tell me. Now's the time. What's your gimmick? Is it just a hunting rifle? I guess it's not just a hunting rifle, 6.5 millimeter. So I mean, what do you even what do you even call that? Bump lethality rating up a little bit, keep the pen value the same, make the number of attacks a little, actually reduce the pen value, keep the number of attacks up a little bit, slap on scoped, which leads to, yeah, this is really going to be it. I don't really need anything else. Unless I start like throwing in like some like very specific ones, I guess SS. Unless I start throwing in like very specific things, I don't really need that much. Generic rifelios. Let's see, so actually if it's just, yeah, pen value is a little bit lower. Grendel, I require assist. Grendel, what do you do, Grendel? Please, no, Grendel. Your friend. Sniper shotguns, let's do... I can't do all the fun shotguns like I usually do, because, fun fact, that just doesn't work in this particular game, is having fun shotguns. So I need boring shotguns. Automatic shotgun. Lethality rating is going to be, how about this? We do, 4, 6, 8. We give shotguns 3, so 3 would be, for just a pump, it would be, I'd say 4, 6, 8 as well. Sawed off would be X, 4, 8. Actually, pump, we could probably do something like, just because this might not be specifically tuned for that kind of combat. Automatics would be, so we reduce it by like 1 across the board, something more like this. Pen value is a little bit weird. What's an auto shotgun? What's an automatic fucking shotgun shooting at this point? What's the... There's the AA12. Hello, Mr. AA12. You're using 12 gauge. Does 12 gauge... 12 gauge versus body armor. Looking at pen 1 at best. Let's see, we want to do... So these are more for breaching. Let's do a quick test here. 3A body armor.
And that told us what it told us, but it prompted a lot of questions about what kind of projectiles this body armor will stop. Now, some of those questions were things like, how will it fare against projectiles from an Imodium Pu-36 explosive space modulator if that space modulator were wielded by a fox wearing socks? We also got some legitimate questions such as, how does 3A body armor stack up against shotgun projectiles? Okay, that we can test. Now, I've got my Mossberg 500. We've got it loaded with Remington, green and yellow box, 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, double-aught buck, 9 pellet. And I'll shoot this from 15 yards. Now, if you were wearing this body armor, your body has some give. So we've got it on a target frame that has some give, and that should make it a legitimate test. So let's see what happens. You want that cheeseburger to go? It's gone! Now, I said that the target frame had to have a little give to make it a legitimate test. That might have been a little too much give. However, it did stop all 9 pellets. So let's put this up on something that maybe has a little more resistance and try that again. Now we've got 2 logs and our vest on the top one, so now there's some give, but maybe a little more resistance than the target frame had. So again, I'll try for this vest the second, and here's you. Pointy, even if that point is just a ballistic tip, or that are small in diameter, and they're made of soft. There's the back of the vest, but that slug did not go through. It's still stuck in there. It was just concussion that burst this soda bottle. So even though it stops the slug, you're still getting hit pretty hard. Now let's try something else, and I'll see if I can illustrate just how hard you're getting hit. Now we've got our 3A body $2. Did stop on the front of concrete block, and I recovered it, at least what's left of it. So I've got both of these, and let me show you a close-up of it. And the slug on your left is the one that was stopped by the vest, and the one on your right is what's left of the one that went through and hit the concrete block. So what's the takeaway from all of this? Well, we see that the 3A body armor will stop double-aught buck projectiles, although you would not want to be on the receiving end of it. Against these 1-ounce rifled slugs, marginal at best. Now, we did not test the Sabo slug.
Okay. So if we're going under this logic, I mean, if we're really going under this logic, yeah, let's say again, buckshots are going to be the most common. And buckshot is the most common, which one of the advantages of having a shotgun is plain flat being able to, you know, just breach. Having the shotgun is by itself a valuable tool. That's one of the advantages. By virtue of having the shotgun, you are at an advantage. That is the big thing. So, I mean, we can do, let's assume like an automatic 2, and then like most everything else is going to be out pen 1. Again, however, like he says, you don't want to be on the receiving end. And actually, because the pen's so low, like relatively speaking, I'm going to bump up the lethality though. I'm going to bump up the lethality rating just a smidge. With the understanding of, if you have no body armor, you get hit by this thing, you're dead. You're just dead. Like, you've been hit by a shotgun at point blank range. Your insides are outside. Because the human body is not designed to take a fucking shotgun to the goddamn chest. That's not how it's actually, you know, designed. Let's do... How much did you have? You had 300 rounds a minute. What, 8 rounds in a box mag, or 8 rounds in mostly. Let's be conservative. Let's be real fucking conservative with this. Let's say 8. Pump is... How many can you load in this, like, a basic pump? Like, I know this is kind of a silly question, but... How much do I say? Like, 1. Like, a fire rate of 1 with 6. So, I mean, if we go under this logic, I mean, I put a 6 there. Sawed-off is literally going to have 2. Like, you can attack twice with it before you have to reload. It's not very good. All of these are going to have the shotgun trait on them. That's going to be just kind of like a basic kind of thing. Yeah, kind of like the idea is... How I picture shotguns, like, one of the big advantages of shotguns is that, like, most like, zombies and shit aren't going to have things like armor. They don't have armor. You shoot them, you shoot them. So, like, the shotgun's going to be really good because you're going to be able to do a shit ton of wounds very fast. Which does indicate it's like, yeah, you've popped them twice and, like, you've really fucked somebody up. Actually, yeah, I'll put in switch. Switch is useful. And that's, you know, it's just like, yeah, you've clearly absolutely shredded a bitch. Specific shotguns. This is where things get a little bit wonky. Do we have any special ones? The Vepper, Smith & Wesson, the Sega, Pancor Jackhammer. I'm gonna bring in the Pancor. No, I can't. I can't justify putting in the Pancor fucking Jackhammer, even though it's a fun weapon. I guess the cause. This is kind of a meme weapon, but so it's just the AA-12. Not really. The combat shotguns aren't really a thing. They're really cool, but they aren't used in combat often. Because no fucking shit they aren't. So, I mean, what are you using? Yeah, it's like Mossbergs and stuff like that. And that's what they're kind of based off of. I don't think we're gonna get any. I don't think we're gonna get any specific ones. Like, really, yeah, like, literally just because they aren't common. Like, really, that's what it boils down to. Like, they are not common, therefore, if you want to have a shotgun like this, you totally can. However, understand there's not really going to be any, like, changes with it. It's like, this is for breaching. This is a very specific thing for a very specific job and very little else. Alright, I can do that. Hey, you guys are the gun guys. I'm just an ass. I'm just some dude. I don't know what the fuck I'm going on about. I'm winging it. You people actually think I know what I'm doing, and that's hilarious. You actually switched over the fucking Ariel like you always do every fucking time. I'm gonna switch to Ariel. No, I don't want you to be Ariel. I never want you to be Ariel. Nobody likes Ariel. Fine. No one. Not a single human being likes Ariel. Okay, so generic firearms, shotguns, which brings me to our next one, which is going to be SMGs. Yep, welcome to SMG land. Probably the most common, but also probably the most both hilariously common as well as being very impractical in some ways. So most of these are being chambered in 9mm. That means they're going to be blocked by most anything of like above 2. Like, no, what's the P9? What's the P90? P9. What is P90 counts chambered in mostly? Tell me what the fuck are you chambered in? Just tell me what. FN 5728. Yeah, no. So if we do this, what about pen 2 for everything? Yeah, so again, my usual thing is, let me see. So it's lethality rating is higher on that. So this is usually the idea of how I do things. With the with this one usually having a you can akimbo on it. That's usually the big advantage. For heavy, that would be like your MP5s. Your MP5s are going to end up with about 12. That you're actually going to have a lot less, but arguably you can use it as a sidearm, which I might put this like mark this as like, yeah, this is going to be a fucking sidearm, like if you want to do that. PDW is going to have 10, a little bit less ammo. $9mm, yeah. So I guess something like 4.35, something more like this. Keep pen low, roughly. Maybe not the best, but it'll work. What are we looking at? What are we looking at? What are we looking at? Full auto, full auto, full auto. Yeah, that's why PDWs are in here. So if we do something like, we apply this twice, we do 2 light SMGs, and then we do 2 PDWs. This is things like the P9, like the P90 has a lethality rating of like 3, but a pen value of 4. Has about 10 attacks. FA, that's fine. Let's see, what else do we have? What PDW? Tell me more about PDWs. Yeah, technically, personal defense weapon, the Scar. Mag pull, we bump up the lethality rating, we lower the lethality rating a little bit. Mag pull, what are you looking at? We're looking at, do we know what the various Stanag magazines, so we're, if the standard Stanag is about 30, that we're looking at about 10. So yeah, this would be about the same. FA, little differences. These are just literally like swapped around. However, that should be roughly accurate. Yeah, so yeah. Ah, Jesus Christ almighty. That is hurt. Fucking gun artists are the worst. So we do something like this, and then that we do actually what we can do. Here's something easy. Welcome to the Israeli fun time adventure. We do 4-1. We keep it up to like 6, but we give sidearm. We give FA sidearm, FA sidearm, FA sidearm. So what would be another good I'm going insane. Oh god, every single one of these fucking guns look the exact same to me. Doesn't help they're all named something stupid. That's the AR-57. That's just similar to the fucking P90 then. That kind of doesn't justify it. Why the fuck are you even here? Beretta, you've been here since 59. Oh my god. That's 1918. Wikipedia, why? Scorpion. Easy Scorpion. 919 Parabellum. What does the fucking Parabellum do? Tell me more about Parabellum rounds. Scorpion Evo 3. We use Scorpion Evo 3. Tell me more about Parabellum. So we fumble through guns. Okay, here, fine. Just for you. Yo, here, just to trigger fucking everybody. It'll be great. There we go. Mini Uzi and just Uzi. Merry fucking Christmas. M19 Parabellum is... I guess that's just like... What's the fuck? What do you mean, just a 9mm, right? No. That doesn't seem right. Yeah, cause so it just counts it as fucking 9mm. That's what. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we're just gonna count it as 9mm. Cool. That's the plan. That's the plan, kids. I guess we'll bump up lethality slightly. We will give how much fucking detachable boxes? They're not really that huge. So if we want to keep it pretty standard, we do 10, but you increase the lethality up a little bit, which brings What else are we looking at? Because every fucking gun looks the exact same. Because here's the thing with guns. This is notepad on firearms. The thing with firearms are very simple. Wow, it's you pull the trigger and then a bullet comes out, and if you hit literally anybody, they're probably going to not get up. That's the problem with a lot of firearms, and like you can see 1,000 different things, and it's a lot of microscopic changes, which mean a lot to people on the ground, but it's also fucking impossible to represent in literally any way on the table that's not going to just bog everything down to a horrific degree. That's the main issue. I can decide if I want to add in every single thing and all the maneuvering rules, and that's not going to do jack shit. No one would want that. No one. Because you want to know what's not a popular game? I'm going to give you all a secret here. You want to know what a game that isn't very popular? It's Phoenix Command. And that's all Phoenix Command is. People will be like, but Ops and Tactics is popular. You don't understand, but Ops and Tactics is popular. Yeah, Ops and Tactics is popular among people who want gun games to do gun games things. Yeah, it's, you know, firearms are like cooking. The difference matters in the real world, but representing in the game is like pulling teeth. Yeah, that's kind of the issue. It's like, what do you do? Like, how do you represent the difference between an M9, a 9mm gun and a 9x19 parafucking being fired from this gun versus this gun, but this gun has this attachment to it, like, oh, you're firing the 12-inch barrel rather than the 13-inch barrel? Oh, my God. No. Yeah, you know, and it's like, it's a real hard, like, and that's one of the things, that's why you may be like, oh, your mantra is just, this is an action. Yes, that is why this mantra is an action game. Because I could go really deep into this, and I don't want to. I've already spent almost 2 fucking hours on this, and I've gotten nothing of what I wanted to get done. I will have to do this off camera. Usually no game does this, by the way. No, they don't. They just give you a lot of options, because like one of the big things is in a lot of those games what happens is, let's take the where's a good one? Okay, like let's do the UMP. Everyone likes the UMP, right? UMP's a fun gun. 45 ACP, Neato Burrito. UMP 45, cool. So the thing is, in a vast majority of video games who want to be like realistic, what they do is absolutely nothing, because usually what happens in those games is that if you pull the trigger on any enemy, they're going to go down immediately. But you're also going to go down immediately. So it's like, oh, well, this is chambered in 45, so I do 200 damage instead of 199 damage. And it's like, oh, well, they're wearing this armor, so it's reduced by percentages. Any single game, I'm going to give you a secret on the table. Literally any single game that, like, shows up with a percentages that isn't just 25, 50, 75, run right now. Yeah, just based on game balance. There was a time where I was thinking about just doing Counter-Strike guns, but Counter-Strike guns are kind of weird. Like, yeah, like this one is like, I'm trying to add some things, but like it's going to be use the generic one. That's why I've been like, just use the basic. Like, just, it's all here and it's all like kind of balanced against one another. Because ultimately I still need to make the game entertaining. That's my most important thing. If the game is not entertaining, I've failed. That's the bit. Like, I have fundamentally failed. 45. Like, the only reason I'm kind of going a little bit autistic here is because of how important it is. Versus level 3 body armor. Penetrate body armor. Level 3A. 3A, so I guess we can bring up the pen value to... yeah, we do something like that. UP, UMP, how much are you doing? 45 APs, no, 30 round, UP, UMP 45. 25 rounds, straight box. So if we're doing 25 rounds, that would be about... that'd be about 8. So you gotta get 8, solid 8 bursts, but you got 4 pen on it. So it's like, yeah, you're gonna rip through people. But actually, we bring down... yeah, we do something like this. We can... yeah, okay. Not ideal, but it'll work. Not ideal, but it'll work. That's all we're on. Inevitably, someone's gonna be like, this game isn't accurate. This game isn't accurate to my gun line. And they're gonna show me 15 fucking papers, and I'm gonna be like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You fucking gun nerds. He was more of a body armor guy. That was like the commissioner's thing, is that like that's what he liked. He's not like a super big, like, I'll give you a hint. A vast majority, like, even the fact that I've done this is far, far more than what a lot of games do. Like, let's take a look at like some games here. Let's take a look. Let's see, do we got something fun? We got what fun games do we have in the modern era, which are actually very rare. I actually was looking a lot because there are very few games, fun fact, that handle firearms in any remote capacity. Very few. And like I don't even actually have any except Ops and Tactics. That's really the only one. Like, if I looked at like modern firearm combat. Oh, I know what to bring up. You want to know what people recommend? You want to know what people like talk about when they are like, oh, I want this, I want it, I want guns, They bring up fucking Cyberpunk. Why isn't it like, let me do, they bring up Friday Night Firefight. Yeah, like they bring up this. Oh, here's my, yeah. And you want to know what people usually talk about when it comes to Cyberpunk? How nobody fucking played it. Like, how people are like, man, this game's really fun, but we didn't play it by the rules because it's like, yeah. I've already... I'd also give UMP fire lethality with less pen. I literally just read that it pens level 3 armor. So make your fucking mind up, Fergly. Make up your fucking mind right now. Is the magic internet box telling me that it's wrong? Or are you telling me it's wrong? The magic internet box keeps telling me different things. See, this is like the annoying thing. It's like, oh, like what is what is a level 4 vest for 45 ACP. The round is level 4 vest. Oh. And you're saying I should lower it. Well, why would I? Exactly. It's saying, oh, level 4 armor is the only thing able to stop this. You see what I fucking mean, man? Like, yeah. So I guess I'll keep it at 4. That's gonna be about level. Actually, no, we'll keep it at 3. We'll bump it down to 3. There we go. It's pretty much just like a slightly. It's not even really as good as. It's actually worse than just the standard submachine gun because you just get more attacks with it. But fuck it. Let me double check. We do. No, that's fucking stupid. I'm bringing down the attacks too much. I have to keep the pen up. Currently 9mm 2. Slightly worse would be 1. Therefore, it is on par with the Uzi. So the UPM-45 is literally useless. This gun is worse than everything else in the game currently. So, but I'll keep it there specifically because you asked for it. Specifically, you have nerfed the UMP. There we go. Yeah, it's statistically just a worse heavy submachine gun. There we go. Just for you guys, I will statistically make the UMP-45 worse. Don't worry, Fiergali. I trust you. Since I trust you so much, the UMP-45 is going to be terrible. But yeah, no, I will. Ugh, Jesus. I need to give it a tag or something, but I gotta do things. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I've been streaming for 3 fucking hours. I'm really tired. I am tired. I'm gonna call it there. Ow. Guns are mostly done except sidearms. I just need to do sidearms, and then I need to do all the tags, and then I need to do a bunch of things, actually. I'm going to do that all without any of you all here. Generally speaking, I'm not being mean. I'm literally just saying having a bunch of you gun artists here is not helping. I thought it would. It is not. Yeah, we're gonna probably be at the current rate. It's going to be next week, most likely Wednesday. Probably it might even be another full 3 episodes. I don't think people quite understand how much I don't think you quite like. I got delayed very heavily on a few, and because I got delayed very heavily, I was supposed to get it done today, but maybe that was a little bit ambitious. So I'm gonna have to just sit here and then look at it, and fucking. Mind you, I still got to go over the Madoka game tonight. I still got to go over the other big game tonight. Yeah, no, this game is just taking a while, simply because there's a lot to consider, and I got hung up on a few aspects of it, and I think those aspects kind of slowed down development. I was hitting a good beat. I'll say that. I was hitting a very good beat this last time. And I think this is the last hump, by the way. You got to remember, this is the last hump. If I get over this, it's Jover. Like, we're good. Like, it's everything's going to kind of come together. But like equipment, I'm going to give you all a secret here. I hate writing equipment. I despise writing equipment. I find this incredibly boring. Horrifically boring. But I'm going to do it because that's what I do. And I want to get this done by I need to get it done hopefully by Wednesday. I might have to just power through it. Generally speaking, there may be a stream tomorrow where I just sit here and just do shit. That might have to happen. I don't know yet. I'm very tired. I'm leaving now.